Our final investigation moves from the city to the country. Bairnsdale, in the east of Victoria. It's a gateway to the majestic Victorian Alps, but also sits on the edge of the beautiful Gippsland lakes. Is it the wide open space that attracts UFOs here?
My name is Ben Hurle. I live here in Bairnsdale, East Gippsland, country Victoria.
Ben has had a lifelong interest in UFOs. After 2 intense encounters, Ben was determined to understand as much as he could about the phenomenon. He is now a UFO investigator. But his sister was of a different mindset. Until 2015.
So, this is a story, and it's a ripper. I was home here, and my sister rings me. And my sister lives about 15 minutes away from me, out on her own farm. And she rings me up, and she's distressed and excited. And she says to me, Ben, there's either UFOs or ghosts above our house. Now, if my sister says that to you, you can take it to the bank. She is as straight as an arrow, has no interest in anything to do with the paranormal, no flights of fancy whatsoever. And she said, they're out to the south of our house. There's a whole heap of them, and they're moving across the sky. So I jumped in the car, and I drove across to her house in about 7 minutes, which would normally take you probably about 15 at least. So I got there in record time to her house, and I came in the driveway, and I came around the back of the house, and sure enough, about probably not much more than, I would say, a length of a football field out above their paddocks were these objects, and they would sit there and they would dart instantly across. And they moved about 600 metres to 800 metres in terms of distance. And they shot straight across, then they shot up again and shot back again. Then they would divide, and then, so one would divide into 2 or 3, and then they would shoot back and forth across the sky. And they would move from point A to point B with just pow. It was like that. It wasn't like putting the accelerator down and, we're going faster. It went from standing still to instant point and stopped. And then it would go back again. And then it would divide, and there would be 1, 2, and even 3, and then they would shoot out into the sky. And they're all darting back and forth. We watched it for an hour. We tried to photograph it and we tried to video it, but iPhones were not picking it up because they were not brightly illuminated, and they had fuzzy sort of outlines around them. This is where the dimensionality comes into it, and it comes into an even bigger way. So they had a kind of a fuzzy, they had a fuzzy, ill-defined outline, which is an aspect of some UFO reports. And then they all lined up in a line together. They flashed, bright light flash, and then they were gone. My thoughts were, what was this? What had we seen? These were objects in the sky, not lights, not lit up. They were about as bright as a cloud on a moonlit night. So they were kind of like a silvery colour, but not illuminated. You could not photograph it or video it, and we tried to do that. And we're looking for natural explanations. There's guys with torches down the road, all that. Nothing like that made any sense to it at all. And then when they all lined up in a horizontal line across the sky, one brilliant flash of light from all of them, and they were gone.
Scientist and UFO expert Bill Chalker agrees that UFO experiences often defy explanation, and sometimes even the known laws of physics.
Yeah, the overall impression one gains from, I guess, a surface viewpoint of a lot of these kind of close encounter type sightings is that they appear to be nuts and bolts sometimes, but then the more you dig down at a lot of these sightings, it gives you the impression that you're dealing with something far stranger that seems seemingly outside of our understanding of physics. You're getting into the cutting edge of I don't know, dimensional physics and that kind of stuff, and and therefore it's a very interesting area to trawl through, particularly if you're an advanced physicist. This is kind of an interesting stamping ground because people seem to be having experiences that interact with these kind of diverse domains, and so it's an area that warrants a lot of serious scientific attention, and it's something that a lot of people, particularly in the scientific domain, are starting to play catch up with.
It was a very, very much what I would call something that seemed to be playing with reality. This was a different experience where these things were moving with pinpoint speed, stopping, interacting with each other, lining up, blinking with a massive bright show of light, and then off.
For Ben, this was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
You could go out and you could look at the night sky night after night for an entire month and see nothing but satellites, the International Space Station, and a couple of planets wandering around. You could do that quite easily. This is not how the phenomenon works. Phenomenon appears when the phenomenon wishes to appear, and you just have to be lucky enough to be in that spot at that time. And that's why people say, well, how come people don't see UFOs? How come one man saw it, or two people saw it, or those people? How come other people didn't see it? Remember to always look up, because you never know what might be looking down.